Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, today is my birthday. So now I'm 44. So, considering all of that, this is just going to be more of a regular vlog type video here. So, basically, on here that I talk about the sort of thing periodically as just a frame of reference of that sort, you know. So, in a way, there were all these different chapters of my life at that point, where I would say, like, you know, chapter one was like me living at the old house and until I was like 4, and then chapter 2 was going to my first school, for like preschool, all the way up until like second grade, as far as that goes, and so that was like that specialized school there, and then I was going to a regular school for like third and sixth grade, you know. So that was like chapter 3, and then chapter 4 was like middle school, like 7th and 8th grade. Chapter 5 was high school, all of that sort of thing there. Chapter 6 was like the whole adult transition thing there. And that was from like for like 2 years after I kind of left, and then I had that whole breather of that sort. So that was like 01 to 03. So that was like chapter 7. And chapter 8 was what was it? Chapter 8 was like living in Irving at that point, and then chapter 9 was like back here, and that was like the rest of my 20s. And chapter 10 was like, it was basically like my 30s, and then about like 5 years ago was kind of like the next chapter, which kind of began like right when Dad passed away was one thing, and then of course COVID and all, and then me going back to this room here was another thing. So considering all that, then the next chapter would be is not living in this house anymore, and that's going to be like whether that's at the end of the year or start of next year or something, but something like in the very near future at that point when it comes to that, you know. But as far as like relationship wise, I think I'm going to be talking more about that later on in that sense, when it came to all these other little things here. But still, as I said before about all of that, I think I have all the time in the world to figure out what I want to do at this point, And that was just something that if I had probably told my 18-year-old self or one of the other younger selves at that point is having a lot of time to figure it out in that sense, rather than just, say that life is short sometimes. I mean, it is if you perceive it to be that short. But if you don't perceive it to be as short, then it's like the other way around, because it's just the perception and assumption of things, But it's just like the whole thing when it came to, manifesting law of attraction, law of assumption, and all of this sort of thing here. And the law of least resistance and all of that. Which I'm going to start talking about certain things later on in the future. So, anyways, guess that's probably it. So, talk to you guys later.